Hello my dear students, welcome back to the chemistry class. In our previous video we discussed about the acids, indicators and the chemical properties of the acids. But in this video we will discuss, we will talk about the bases, their properties and pH scale and its importance. So let us start with the bases. What are the bases? Bases are those substances that are bitter in taste and change the red litmus blue. And bases are soapy and slippery to touch. If we touch them, then we feel slippery. You can take the example of your washing soap or bathing soap. Those are slippery. That means they are made up of bases. So let us talk about the Arrhenius theory of the bases. What is the Arrhenius theory of the bases? According to this theory, bases are those substances that ionize to form hydroxyl ion, that is OH minus ions when dissolved in water. So you can take one example. When we dissolve NaOH in water in aqueous form, then we will get Na plus ion and OH minus ion, that is anion. Okay. So after that, let us talk about the alkalis. What are the alkalis? Alkalis are those bases that can dissolve in water. Then you can take again example: sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, etc. You can say that all the alkalis are bases, but all the bases are not alkalis. It means that all the bases cannot dissolve in water. Only few bases are there that can dissolve in bases, and those bases are known as the alkalis. Now come on to the properties of the bases. Let us talk about the reaction of the bases with the metals. When bases react with the metals, they give a metal, salt and hydrogen gas. Only the that is strong bases react with the metals to form the metal, salt and hydrogen, just like that of acids. So we can take the example. When sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH, react with the zinc metal, then what will happen? Metal salt will be formed, that is sodium zincate will be formed, Na2ZnO2, and hydrogen gas will be formed. We can balance it by writing through here. Let us move on to next property of the bases. Bases react with non-metallic oxides to form salt and water. Non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature, and that is why as bases react with non-metallic oxides, or you can say acids, to form salt and water. It is a type of that is neutralization reaction, and you can take the example like NaOH plus non-metallic oxide, that is carbon dioxide. Then sodium carbonate will be formed and water will be formed. Here, now come on to the neutralization reaction. or you can say the reaction between acids and the bases, or reaction of the bases with the acids. When acid react with the, or when base react with the acid, it gives salt and water. Again we can take the example of, that is NaOH when react with hydrochloric acid, then metal salt, that is NaCl will be formed and water will be formed. Okay. Now let us talk about the strong bases and the weak bases. What are the strong bases? Strong bases are those bases that are almost completely ionized in water. And you can take the example of strong bases like NaOH, KOH, CaOH twice, etc. And again, what are the weak bases? Weak bases are those bases which ionize to small extent in water, or you can say that they produces the less number of hydroxyl ion, that is OH minus ions. You can take the example of magnesium hydroxide or NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide, etc. Clear? Now let us talk about acid and bases collectively. What they have in common? As you already know that when acids dissolved in water, they form H plus ions, and when bases dissolved in water they form hydroxyl ion, that is OH minus ions. Now what is common there in both acid and bases? Both acid and bases when dissolved in water they form ions, and these ions make these acids and bases, when they dissolve in water, they make them good conductor of electricity. Okay. Now let us talk about if we have a concentrated acids or the bases, and how can we prepare the dilute acids and the bases out of those concentrated acids and bases. For that we have two methods. The dilution process, or mixing the acid or the bases with the water, is a highly exothermic reactions. Okay, so how to prepare the dilute acids or the bases? First method is by adding the water to the acid, and second one is by adding the acid to the water. Now what is there any difference? Yes, there is a lot of difference in it. When we add water to the acid, then the mixture, the reacting mixture will become a highly exothermic, and lot of energy will come out, and that due to that the mixture can splash out of the container, and it can burn your face and your clothes. So it is very dangerous. So it is not recommended to prepare the dilute acids. Let us talk about second one. In second one we are adding the acids to the water. In this method we add the acid to the water, but in a small amount, drop by drop, by using the glass rod. We drop the acid drop by drop, and by constant stirring the beaker that contains the mixture. Okay, so that heat produced in the resulting mixture dissipate into the container or in the environment. Okay, so to prepare the dilute acids or the bases, it is recommended that acids or bases should be added to the water dropwise along the with the help of the glass rod or along the wall of the beaker or the container with constant stirring. How to measure strength of an acid or a base? Acid base indicator is used to distinguish between the acidic and the basic solution, whether the solution is acidic or basic. For that we use the acid base indicator like litmus solutions. But how to measure the strength of an acid or a base, or how to measure the strength or number of H plus ions? We use the universal indicator. Now, what is the universal indicator? Universal indicator, it is a mixture of several indicators and it gives different colors and different concentrations of H plus or pH values of the solution. For example, if universal indicator is added with the neutral solution, then it gives green color, and when it is mixed with a strong base, then it gives dark blue color, that is blue black or the dark blue color. But when it is mixed with a weak base, it gives blue green color. But when it is mixed with a strong acid, it gives a red color, and when it is mixed with a weak acid, it gives, that is, orange or yellow color. Okay, now let us talk about the pH scale. What is a pH scale? Before talking about the pH scale, let us talk about the meaning of the pH. What is the meaning of P? P here stands for potence or the power or strength, and H stands for hydrogen ion. That means it is a scale which is used to measure the H plus ion concentration in a solution. Okay, and this scale was developed by Danish chemist, that is Sorensen. And this is the structure, this is the figure, this is the structure of the pH scale. What is given here? A rectangular strip is shown here, and this rectangular slip is starting from 0, and in the middle it has number 7, and at other end it has number 14. When we are at number 7, that means the solution is neutral. Okay, that means it has the equal number of H plus ion and OH minus ions. As we move towards the 0, that is 6 or 5 or 4 or 3 or 1, that means the acidity increases. Okay, we can take the example of 1mHCl. 1mHCl. The pH of 1mHCl is 0 to 1. That means it is a strong acid. But as we move near the 7 number or less than 7, near the 7, less than 7, that means we have, that is a weak acid. Okay, you can take the examples here. Weak acids like milk, Milk has lactic acid, that is a weak acid, and acid rain. Coffee has a pH value that is less than 7. Okay. In the same way, tomato juice have acid, that is the oxalic acid, and its pH value is ranging from 4 to 4.1. In the same way, when we go beyond the number 7, that means the basicity or basic nature of the solution increases. The solution having the pH greater than 7, just slightly greater than 7, are known as the weak bases. And you can take the example here, baking soda act as a weak base, or it has a basic substance, okay, due to which it is showing the pH value 7.8, and you can have a lot of examples there, okay. And as soon as we approaches the number 14, the basicity increases. For example, if we come on the point 14 or the pH value 14, then we will get the strong base, and we have the example of a 1M NaOH. Its pH value is 14. So in the middle, or if the pH of any solution is exactly 7, that means it is a neutral. But if the pH value decreases, there is an increase in H plus ion concentration. But if the pH of the solution increases greater than 7, that means there is a decrease in H plus ion concentration. So let us have some common substances in our daily life. That is gastric juice, that is released by the gastric gland in our stomach to digest the food. Its pH is 1 to 1.2. Lemon juice 2.2 to 2.4, vinegar 3, tomato juice 4 to 4.1, coffee 4.5 to 5.5, acid rain 5.6, milk 6.5, and saliva 6.7 to 7.5. Common salt solution, that is table salt or vegetable salt, when we dissolve in water, then its pH is 7. Pure water 7. Human blood, it is slightly basic, 7.3 to 7.5. Baking soda solution 7.5. Calamine lotion 8.0. It is that lotion which is used to apply on the skin when some insect bite us. Okay, so to give the treatment to the insect bite, calamine lotion is used. Washing soda solution, its pH is 9, and milk of magnesia, that is magnesium hydroxide. It is used in making the antacids to remove the acidity of the stomach. 10.5, and 1M NaOH 14, and seawater. Seawater is basic in nature, that is 8.5 pH value. Now let us talk about the importance of pH in everyday life. First of all, we will discuss about the animals are pH sensitive. Human body has the pH range 7 to 7.8. If our pH range is remaining between 7 to 7.8, that means we have not any problem. Problem starts in our body when there is a change in the pH value of the human blood of the human body, or it becomes slightly less than 7, that is acidity, or you can say our blood becomes acidic, and lot of other problems will take place in different organs. And due to acid rain, what is the acid rain? It is when rainwater mixed with the polluted gases and the pH of the rainwater becomes less than 5.6, then that water is known as the acid rain. When that acid rain flow to the rivers or water bodies, then what will happen there? It causes irritation or problem to the aquatic organisms. Now let us talk about the pH in our digestive system. As you have already done in chapter number 6, life processes, human digestive system. In our stomach, we have a digestive gland, that is the gastric glands, that releases the hydrochloric acid. That is gastric juice releases the hydrochloric acid, and it is the strong acid. When we eat something heavy or you can say some fatty food or oily food, or due to overeating, what will happen? Our digestive system or gastric gland have to release more gastric juice to digest that food, oily or fatty food, or that is heavy food. And due to that, our digestive system becomes acidic, and due to which there is a pain in the stomach and irritation is there. And what is the remedy for that? We should take antacids like ENO. By dissolving in water, when we drink that antacid contains the macropomagnesia, which is a mild base, and neutralization reaction takes place in the stomach. When we drink the antacids, it neutralizes the extra acid released by the gastric gland, which is present in the gastric juice, and salt and water is formed in the stomach, and we get the instant relief. Now let us talk about the pH of the soil. Do plants also require some pH value? Yes. Plants are also pH sensitive. Plants grow in a soil which is neither too acidic nor too basic. But what will happen? How can we treat the soil when it becomes acidic? To treat the acidic soil, we add some slaked lime in it. That is the calcium hydroxide, or CaOH, twice in the soil. Why? Because slaked lime is basic in nature and it neutralizes the extra acid in the soil. That means it increases the pH value of the soil. And sometimes the soil becomes basic in nature. That means its pH you can say increases greater than 7. In that soil also plants can't grow. And to neutralize the basic soil, what will happen? What we will do? We add some gypsum in the soil, and gypsum decreases the pH of the soil. And make that soil fit for the growth of the plant. Now let us talk about the pH and the tooth decay. What is the relation between the pH value or pH of the mouth and the tooth decay? Yes, there is a close relation between the pH and the tooth decay of the mouth. As you have studied that saliva is basic in nature, little bit acidic, but more basic in nature. When we have not eaten anything, that means our mouth, the pH of our mouth is neutral or little bit basic. But when we eat some sugary substance, sugars, chocolates, toffees, or even when we eat food and we do not wash the mouth, then what will happen? Some food particles or sugar particles that struck in the between the teeth, their degradation, their decomposition starts, and due to the decomposition of the carbohydrate or the sugar in between the teeth, acidic substance generated there. and those acidic substances degrade the outer layer of the teeth. This outer layer of the teeth is made up of enamel, tooth enamel, which is made up of calcium phosphate. It is the hardest substance present in our body. So that tooth enamel is destroyed by that acid, which is caused due to eating and not washing the mouth after eating any chocolate or any toffee or any meal. Okay, and our tooth decay starts when the pH of the mouth becomes less than 5.5. Okay, and how to prevent the tooth decay? We have a remedy for that. That means we can use the toothpaste, which is basic in nature. And one more thing, after every meal we should wash our mouth. Okay, and by chewing any you can say any substance which is basic in nature, or by eating salad after finishing the meal, we can avoid the tooth decay of our mouth. Fifth point, that is self-defense by animals and plants through warfare. Some plants and animals use the pH for their protection. For example, if we take the example of honey bees and ant sting, their sting contains formic acid, which causes irritation in the skin. And what is the remedy for that? We should rub the affected area by mild base like baking soda. Again, through the neutralization reaction, the remedy of that stinging of ant or honeybee takes place. Now, stinging here of a nettle plant. Some plant or also protect themselves by stinging here. The stinging here of nettle plant have formic acid, which causes irritation, and we can cure that irritation by again using mild base, that is baking soda, or by rubbing the leaves of a dog plant. Okay, now yellow wasp, their sting contains the base. That means by using the logic of neutralization reaction, we should rub any weak acid like vinegar on the affected area. That's all for today. I hope you like the video. Thank you and have a nice day.